The moment you clicked on this video, you probably thought the title sounded impossible. A hidden camera, inside your own house. Footage, spreading everywhere. Millions of people watching. But the biggest question is not who recorded it. The real question is, who already knew what was happening inside your home before you did? Stay with me until the very end, because every minute of this story changes everything you thought you knew about privacy, trust, and the ordinary moments you believed nobody was watching. Imagine waking up on an ordinary morning. Nothing feels unusual. You make coffee. You check your phone. You walk through the hallway. You smile at someone in your family. Everything appears completely normal. Yet somewhere, someone is already watching those exact moments. Not live. Not through magic. Through recordings collected day after day. Waiting for the perfect moment to be discovered. At first, nobody notices. Because hidden cameras are designed to disappear. They become part of smoke detectors. Wall clocks. Phone chargers. Decorative objects. Picture frames. Things your eyes stop paying attention to after only a few days. That is what makes this story so disturbing. The greatest secrets rarely hide behind locked doors. They hide in plain sight. Now imagine this. Late one evening, a notification appears online. A blurry video begins circulating. People laugh. Some are shocked. Others begin sharing theories. Nobody knows where the footage came from. No faces are clearly visible. No address is mentioned. But then, someone notices a tiny detail. A painting hanging beside a staircase. Another person recognizes the same painting from a family photo shared months earlier. Within hours, thousands begin comparing screenshots. The mystery grows. The internet becomes obsessed. Everyone wants to know the same thing. Who lives in that house? What happened there? And who placed the hidden camera? This is where the story becomes impossible to ignore. Because the recordings reveal something no one expected. Not a crime. Not a robbery. Not a ghost. Instead, tiny moments. Ordinary conversations. People helping each other. Arguments that end in forgiveness. Children laughing. Parents praying. Grandparents sitting quietly by a window. Moments nobody expected strangers to ever witness. Ironically, the internet becomes fascinated precisely because everything feels so real. No filters. No perfect lighting. No rehearsed speeches. Just life. Raw. Unedited. Authentic. Then another clip appears. And another. Each one revealing a different day. People begin connecting timelines. What started as curiosity becomes an obsession. Entire communities analyze every frame. Who entered through the front door? Why did one visitor stay only 3 minutes? Why did someone leave carrying an empty box and return carrying a full one? What happened after midnight? Why did the hallway light switch on when nobody seemed awake? Questions multiply faster than answers. Then something unexpected happens. A technician is invited to inspect the house. Nobody expects him to find anything. He checks electrical wiring, smoke detectors, light fixtures, shelves, mirrors. Nothing. Hours pass. The family begins believing the footage must be fake. Until the technician pauses in front of an ordinary digital clock. It has been sitting on the same shelf for years. Nobody remembers buying it. Nobody remembers plugging it in. Nobody even remembers looking at it. He lifts it, turns it over, unscrews one tiny panel. Silence fills the room. Inside, a miniature camera, a storage device, a battery. Everything perfectly concealed. Nobody speaks. Because suddenly every memory changes. Every birthday. Every celebration. Every difficult conversation. Someone could have been watching. Not just once. For years. But here's the twist. The recordings stored inside do not match the videos already circulating online. There are missing days. Missing weeks. Entire months have vanished. Which means someone had already accessed the device before it was discovered. Someone selected specific moments. Someone edited the story. Someone decided what the world would see. And someone kept the rest hidden. That realization changes everything. Because the footage was never just footage. It became a message. A puzzle. A warning. As investigators begin examining timestamps, another strange detail emerges. The camera never recorded continuously. Instead, it activated only during unusual moments. Whenever unexpected visitors arrived. Whenever arguments started. Whenever mysterious deliveries appeared. Whenever people whispered instead of speaking normally. Almost as if someone programmed it to recognize tension. Or perhaps someone activated it remotely. Speculation explodes. Experts debate every possibility. Viewers slow videos frame by frame. Comments pour in from around the world. Some believe it was installed by someone inside the family. Others suspect former workers. Electricians. Repair technicians. Guests. Even trusted friends. Because trust leaves the biggest blind spots. Think about it. How many people have entered your home? Delivery workers. Internet installers. Cleaning staff. Painters. Neighbors. Friends. Relatives. Every visit lasts only minutes. Long enough to leave behind something nobody notices. That thought alone unsettles millions watching this story. Then comes the most chilling discovery. Investigators compare reflections visible inside glass cabinets. One reflection appears repeatedly. Not clearly. Just enough to suggest someone occasionally entered the room while everyone else was asleep. The figure never looks toward the camera. Almost as though they already knew exactly where it was. Now the internet becomes divided. Was the hidden camera placed to spy? Or to document something even stranger? Another week passes. More footage surfaces. This time, a child walks into the living room late at night. They stop. Look directly toward the hidden camera. Smile. Wave. Then quietly whisper, "I know you're there." Nobody teaches children to speak to hidden cameras they cannot see. Yet somehow, that exact moment becomes one of the most replayed clips online. Millions argue over its meaning. Was it coincidence? Imagination? Or did the child notice something adults ignored? Sometimes children observe details grown-ups dismiss. Perhaps that's why the clip refuses to leave people's minds. Because certainty disappears. From that point forward, every object inside the house becomes suspicious. Every electronic device raises questions. Every unfamiliar gift receives another look. People everywhere begin checking their own homes. Smoke detectors. Alarm clocks. Power adapters. Photo frames. Wireless speakers. Old decorations. Not because they expect to find hidden cameras, but because once an idea enters your mind, it becomes impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, the family at the center of the story struggles with something even more painful. Not fear. Embarrassment. The realization that strangers witnessed deeply personal moments never meant for public eyes. Moments of grief. Moments of celebration. Moments of vulnerability. Moments that belonged only to them. Privacy is invisible. You rarely appreciate it until it disappears. Eventually, authorities trace part of the recording path. The uploads bounced across multiple anonymous servers. False identities. Disposable accounts. Digital dead ends. Whoever released the footage planned carefully. Very carefully. Yet one mistake remained. Hidden within video metadata. A tiny clue. Enough to suggest the recordings were exported months before anyone noticed the camera missing. Meaning someone possessed those memories long before the world saw them. Imagine carrying that secret. Knowing someone's private life exists on a drive somewhere. Waiting. Stored. Silent. Unknown. The story spreads across television. Podcasts. Forums. Documentaries. Everyone asks who did it. But another question slowly becomes more important. Why were only certain moments released? Why not everything? Because every story can be controlled by choosing what people never get to see. That lesson reaches far beyond one house. It reminds us how easily reality can be shaped. Show one clip without context. People invent their own ending. Hide another clip. The truth changes completely. Eventually, a breakthrough arrives. A former contractor remembers installing decorative electronics years earlier. He recalls receiving equipment from an unknown supplier. Nothing unusual seemed wrong. Until investigators compare serial numbers. One device doesn't belong. It was never part of the original shipment. Someone switched it. Quietly. Deliberately. Patiently. The simplest explanation often hides behind ordinary routines. Months later, the viral excitement fades. Headlines disappear. New stories replace old ones. But inside that house, life never returns exactly as before. People hesitate before speaking. They notice every unfamiliar object. They appreciate closed doors. They treasure quiet conversations. Because once privacy is stolen, its value becomes impossible to measure. And perhaps that's the greatest mystery of all. Not who installed the hidden camera. Not who uploaded the footage. Not why it became viral. But how quickly ordinary moments become extraordinary the instant someone else begins watching them. So before you leave today, take one careful look around your own surroundings. Not with fear, but with awareness. Sometimes the smallest unnoticed details deserve another glance. Because the stories that change lives rarely begin with explosions or impossible events. Sometimes they begin with an ordinary object sitting silently on a shelf, waiting for someone to finally ask the question nobody thought to ask. Who put it there? The question hangs in the air long after everyone leaves the room. Who put it there? Investigators replay that question hundreds of times, but every answer leads to another mystery. The family begins retracing years of memories. Every renovation. Every birthday party. Every holiday gathering. Every repair appointment. Every visitor who ever stepped through the front door suddenly becomes a possible suspect. Names are written down. Dates are compared. Receipts are searched. Old photographs are enlarged. Someone notices something strange. In dozens of family pictures taken over several years, the same digital clock appears in the background. Always in a different position. Sometimes on the bookshelf. Sometimes beside the television. Sometimes near the front entrance. Nobody remembers moving it. Yet there it is. Quietly changing places as if someone wanted the camera to watch different parts of the house over time. That discovery sends chills through everyone involved. Because it means the device may not have remained untouched. Someone could have returned. Again. And again. Without anyone realizing it. Then another piece of evidence surfaces. A neighbor remembers seeing an unfamiliar van parked outside the house several times late at night. It never stayed long. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. Then it disappeared. At the time, nobody thought much about it. Now that memory feels completely different. Security footage from nearby streets is requested. Most recordings have already been deleted because too much time has passed. Except for one. One small convenience store keeps archived footage much longer than expected. Investigators review weeks of recordings. Hours become days. Days become weeks. Then, a silver van appears. No company logo. No license plate visible. It drives slowly past the house. Returns exactly 22 minutes later. Then disappears. The same pattern repeats on different dates. Always after midnight. Always when the neighborhood is quiet. People online immediately begin creating theories. Some believe the van belonged to criminals. Others think it was simply a coincidence. But then investigators notice something almost impossible. Every time the van appeared, the hidden camera stopped recording for exactly 12 minutes. Why? What happened during those missing 12 minutes? Were files being collected? Was the camera being serviced? Or was someone entering the house? Nobody knows. The missing recordings become even more mysterious than the videos that actually survived. Soon another expert joins the investigation. A digital forensic analyst. He examines every surviving file frame by frame. Most people focus on the people inside the house. He focuses on the shadows, reflections, background sounds, tiny details nobody else notices. Then he freezes one frame. Barely visible in a reflection on a glass cabinet is a tiny blinking light. It appears only once. Less than half a second. The blinking light does not belong to the hidden camera. It belongs to another recording device. Silence fills the room. Another camera? Could there have been two? Suddenly the investigation doubles in size. Every room is searched again. Walls are scanned. Ceilings are inspected. Furniture is dismantled. Nothing. No second camera. Yet the reflection cannot be explained. If there wasn't another device, what created that blinking light? The mystery grows deeper. Meanwhile, the family receives anonymous messages. No threats. No demands. Only one sentence repeated over and over. You still haven't found everything. The messages arrive from different accounts. Different countries. Different devices. Every account disappears minutes later. The word spread across social media. Millions of people begin wondering what else could still be hidden inside the house. Television crews gather outside. Curious strangers drive past hoping to glimpse the now famous property. The house becomes a symbol of a terrifying possibility. That the place people trust most can sometimes hide secrets they never imagined. Then comes another unbelievable twist. During renovations, workers remove part of an old wall. Inside the empty space behind it, they discover an envelope. No fingerprints. No return address. Inside is a single photograph. The family is sitting together in the living room. Smiling. Laughing. Completely unaware. The photograph was clearly taken from above. Higher than the hidden camera's position. Everyone stares at the picture. If the camera inside the clock didn't capture this, who did? And from where? Investigators rush back through the house. They measure angles, distances, ceiling heights. Eventually they locate the only position capable of producing that exact photograph. The attic. The family insists nobody has entered the attic for years. The door is unlocked. Dust covers everything. At first glance, nothing appears unusual. Then an investigator notices footprints. Not fresh. Not old enough to disappear completely either. Someone had been there. Carefully. Quietly. Looking down through a tiny ventilation opening almost impossible to notice from below. There is no camera. No equipment. Only another clue. A handwritten note. It contains 6 words. You watched the wrong direction. Those words haunt everyone involved. What if the hidden camera inside the clock was never the main camera? What if it existed only to distract anyone who eventually discovered it? What if the real recordings came from somewhere else entirely? Suddenly every previous conclusion becomes uncertain. The internet explodes again. People compare blueprints. Architects analyze the house. Former owners are interviewed. One elderly resident remembers something forgotten decades earlier. The attic once connected to a narrow maintenance passage running above several neighboring homes. Most of it had supposedly been sealed during renovations. Supposedly. Construction workers inspect the passage. Behind a wooden panel. They discover an opening just large enough for a person to crawl through. It stretches into darkness. Nobody knows how far it goes. Investigators move cautiously. Their flashlights reveal old wiring. Dust. Spider webs. Then. Fresh shoe prints. Someone had been there recently. Very recently. The passage continues until it reaches a small hidden compartment. Inside are empty batteries. Broken memory cards. Packaging for miniature electronic equipment. Everything else has been removed. Whoever used the space left only what no longer mattered. The important evidence was gone. But one object remained. A tiny key. No label. No markings. Just a key. What does it unlock? Nobody knows. For weeks, investigators search banks, lockers, storage facilities, and safe deposit boxes. Nothing matches. The key becomes another unanswered question in a story already filled with mysteries. Months later, a journalist receives an unmarked package. Inside is a flash drive. No note. No explanation. Only one video file. The recording begins with static. Then a voice speaks. Calm. Slow. Almost emotionless. If you're watching this, you found one camera, but not the reason. The screen immediately turns black. The file ends. No clues. No identity. Only another impossible question. What was the real reason? The investigation remains officially unresolved. The hidden camera was found. The viral footage was traced. Yet the person responsible was never identified. Some mysteries are solved through evidence. Others survive because every answer creates 2 more questions. And perhaps that's why this story continues to fascinate millions. Not because of what was discovered, but because of everything that still remains hidden. Somewhere. Perhaps in another forgotten device. Another memory card. Another anonymous upload waiting for the perfect moment. There may still be footage the world has never seen. And if that day ever comes, the first question everyone will ask won't be whether the videos are real. It will be the same question that started this entire nightmare. Who was watching? All along?